Good evening. Welcome back to Ask 9 here in our streaming studio. I'm Becky Phelps, joined today by Jocelyn.
Hi. Yeah, so glad to be here.
Yes, you've been working on a story that is, it's a little complicated just because there's so many layers to this.
Absolutely.
So we have been following for what feels like the last couple months various changes to SNAP benefits, which is even, last year was further complicated by the government shutdown.
Exactly.
This has been really, really progressing. But you're covering some federal changes to the program.
Correct.
Run us through what we're learning today.
Yes, exactly. Those are coming from the One Big Beautiful Bill that we saw last summer. So now just coming into effect this past Sunday, February 1st. And I mainly was talking about work requirements today.
Okay, so the work requirements are shifting a little bit?
Yes, exactly. So work requirements for able-bodied adults without dependents, so without children that they're taking care of, those have existed since the 90s, as I understand. And so now it's kind of shifted from the range of, 18 years old to 55. That's now up to 65, as I understand.
Okay, so it's going to impact more people.
Exactly, yeah, just getting that kind of 10-year age range. And it's not just working. You can also, volunteer. You can participate in a work-based program.
I found that really interesting.
I know, yeah.
You don't technically have to be working. So
exactly.
the requirement is you have to be doing one of these things at least 80 hours a month to continue receiving benefits. But you can either work, volunteer, or participate in some SNAP programs. So there are some options for people to continue receiving the benefits.
Exactly. And as I understand, the SNAP program is like an educational training thing. Maybe that's a path towards getting some high school graduate equivalency things, specific programs for whatever industry you might be looking to get involved in. So it's not just strictly 80 hours a month would be about 20 hours a week. Working a traditional job. There's lots of options to, do what you need to do.
And if you cannot meet those requirements, you still can get SNAP assistance, but it's very limited. You can only access it 3 months over a 3-year period.
Right. Yes. Yeah. There's specific things, and even, once we've counted 3 full months, you'll lose your SNAP benefits until this upcoming December. So there's a lot of particulars. And so one thing that the person that I spoke with today, he's a coordinator over at HACAP, the Hawkeye Area Community Action Program. Let me make sure I get that right.
Yeah, HACAP provides food to, I would say, most of the food banks across Iowa. They are a huge, huge supplier.
Absolutely.
So they have a great perspective on just how big the impact is here.
Right, certainly. Yeah, and he was just saying that certainly look through and try to figure out where your household lands. You have children that are this age, okay, I'm just now turning 65, whatever your situation might be. So certainly look through those requirements, but also if you're confused, just apply. Just reach out, and there's ways to appeal if you feel that they've denied you wrongly. So just trying to apply and seeing if that works for your family is a good option. That's what he was saying.
That's fair enough. There's no harm in applying. You're not going to get any kind of penalties.
No, right.
For that. So we are tracking this new a federal change. This one is, and that went into effect just recently, right?
Yes, February 1st. Yes. So now, as I understand, again, if you are perhaps 57 and trying to continue to get your SNAP benefits, then you're going to need, and you're able-bodied without dependents, right? You're going to need to participate in the working, volunteering, work program, that sort of thing. You're just going to have to make sure that you fit those sorts of things. And you can even volunteer at food banks, right? You can volunteer at a HACAP and just kind of get involved with the community that way. So.
Okay, very interesting. So again, these are federal changes that we are tracking. There are some exemptions. That is important to note, because not everyone is physically able to work.
Right.
So we're going to note some of the exemptions to this. People who are pregnant are exempt or have certain medical conditions, but these are not automatically given out. You do have to document and go through a bit of a process, right, to get these exemptions.
Yeah, that, as I understand, it's just reporting that in your forms to the state, Iowa, HHS, that kind of thing. And also just with the working volunteering thing, it's, keeping track of pay stubs, it's signing off on the volunteering. So it's all, corroborated with the state, basically.
So again, the federal changes, we've also been tracking Iowa's changes to the SNAP program. Rebecca Vaughn did a great story back in December previewing changes that went into effect on January 1st. So now we've got the state changes, which has been in effect for a month, and we're adding on federal changes. But we're going to air Rebecca's story previewing the state changes just to give you an idea of, what we've been building up here. We're going to air that now.
Josh Rohn of Marion receives about $300 a month in SNAP benefits. He uses that money to purchase foods and drinks that help him take various medications. But the items he normally puts in his shopping cart will be changing come January 1st.
You're not going to be able to get any candy stuff, which I agree with it because, yeah, they want to eat healthy, but some people need the sugar to keep going.
Rohn is diabetic. Candy is just one item that won't be covered by SNAP benefits in the new year. Soda, vitamins, minerals, pre-made foods, and juice made with less than 50% fruit or vegetables are also on the chopping block. The state's goal? Promoting eating foods like meats and fruits.
A lot of us can't afford to get that stuff because of how much it is. Because let's say you get $200 in food stamps a month, and you want to get healthy stuff. It's maybe last 1-2 weeks tops.
A local dietitian says price is just one of the barriers to purchasing fresh produce.
Lack of transportation, decreased access to certain types of foods, like if they live in a food desert, decreased time to be able to prepare foods. Maybe they have multiple jobs. Maybe they are caretakers.
Wells says it'll take time to figure out if this ban is actually beneficial to people's health. The pros?
There is a good amount of research that shows that high sugar food items do not promote health.
As for the cons,
potentially damaging that freedom of choice, that dignity of that trust in someone to do the best for them in their household and their life.
In Cedar Rapids, Rebecca Vaughn, KCRG, TV9 News.
Again, that is Rebecca Vaughn's report from December. So Iowans have been living with those changes for about a month now. I'm curious, when you went and talked to HACAP today, did they mention, this has got to be confusing when it all adds up like this?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why, the coordinator I spoke with was saying just apply if you've looked through the requirements and you're still confused. Another thing is, there's no longer exemptions for parents with children under 18. That's now been moved down to 14. So thinking of single parents trying to work, trying to coordinate childcare, that kind of thing. Even there's exemptions that have been changed now, removed for the homeless population, for veterans, young adults in foster care when they turn 18. So, if you're a 17-year-old, oh my gosh, how am I handling that? Just certainly, confusing and definitely good to read through all the categories and even reaching out to a HACAP type of thing, nonprofits in your area if you're confused and looking for answers.
Now, with all of these added changes and with the government shutdown back in the fall, has HACAP seen, more people using their services?
Absolutely, yes. So they're, distributing to pantries. They provide a lot of, help with energy assistance through federal and state programs. They provide all sorts of services. But they've told me that during the government shutdown, like October to November, don't remember the quite exact dates on that, but they saw 4,000 additional individuals who needed help with,
wow,
food for their families. So significant numbers. They continue to see those. Certainly shutdown into holidays is a time for families in need that's really important. And then they're anticipating kind of more need if people are coming off of SNAP because of these new requirements. So
okay, so they do expect to continue to just see that grow.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you learned today that you think is particularly interesting?
Yeah, there's just so many specifics that we already kind of went through. Again, this is just really like work requirements kind of changing for those able-bodied adults with no dependents. So just really kind of trying to keep on aware of those details and Yeah.
You reached out to a couple of our lawmakers, right?
That is correct.
know
Yes.
We've
yes.
got a statement. Who'd you hear back from?
I did hear back from Representative Hinson, and her main point was that, it's important to have able-bodied adults who can work, who can volunteer and participate in these programs. She wants to see them do so, right? And also, maintain those exemptions for pregnant women, seniors, obviously, people with mental disabilities, whatever that might be. So she agreed to maintain those exemptions as they are being maintained, and just saying that she was really emphasizing the common sense requirements. So people who can work, she believes, should do that, so that SNAP is for those families who are really in need.
Right. Bottom line, if you are confused, reach out to your local resources or go ahead and just apply and check and see if you do qualify still for these requirements.
Absolutely.
Jocelyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
On Ask 9. And as always, if you've got any questions, anything you'd like us to look into, send us a message on Facebook or just shoot us an email. Have a great evening.